Today we will be looking at the language policy for higher education in South Africa. In this presentation, we will be looking at a policy summary, which will go over the goals of the policy, who the intended audience is, the historical, educational, and cultural context to the policy, and also the challenges that this policy faces. We will then analyze this policy by looking at three specific themes, following equity, security, and community. And finally, we will give critiques and recommendations based on what we have read in the policy. So let's travel back in time to 2002 when this policy was created. There are two specific goals in which this policy hopes to meet. The first was to create unity and social justice through the promotion of multilingualism. The second goal was to build a common sense of nationhood through the unification of language. The policy is directly aimed at government ministries as a note that further funding and investigations will be required in order to promote equality and economic development in South Africa. This policy directly affects all aspects of the school, from the administration to the faculty and the students. It is especially meant to affect students who are linguistically disenfranchised through a home language other than the dominant English or Afrikaans. Without the ability to speak one of those languages, many young adults in South Africa are unable to further their education due to the lack of diversity in the languages used during instruction. Oppression and control have played a significant role in South Africa's past. The use of language policy as an instrument of that control, oppression, and exploitation was one of the factors that triggered the two great political struggles that define South Africa in the 20th century. Afrikaners against British imperialism, and black community against white rule. Prior to this new South African language policy for higher education, the policy of separate development resulted in the privileging of English and Afrikaans as the official language of the apartheid state, and the marginalization and underdevelopment of African and other languages. For example, despite 12 different home languages being reported, English and Afrikaans are the only languages used as a medium of instruction in higher education prior to this new policy. There are a few areas to consider when thinking about the educational and cultural context of this policy. The first is access. Language has the ability to be a barrier for access and success in higher education. 50% of students in higher education institutes report an indigenous African language as their home language. And yet, the majority of universities use English as the sole medium of communication in and out of the classroom. The second area is rights. Everyone has the right to receive education in the official language or languages of their choice. Finally, the third area is economic. The study of foreign languages is important for economic development. In particular, those languages that promote the country's cultural, trade, and diplomatic relations. There are many challenges that policymakers face when constructing new policies that promote multilingualism. They must be able to develop a multilingual environment that ensures access and success, provide substantial financial resources, work within the status quo to develop language uses in higher education, and balance maintaining the use of Afrikaans while promoting other languages. In order to understand this policy, we must first understand what issues it addresses. This policy looks at languages used in instruction, the future of South African languages as fields of academic study and research, the study of foreign languages, and the promotion of multilingualism in the institutional policies and practices of institutions of higher education.